make a name for yourself, as if God had not granted you that very name. You reached towards the heavens, never wondered how they got there. You believed you were invincible. But that kind of pride only comes before a fall. So you were scattered across the face of the earth, unable to understand the other. Your towers began to collapse inwards, sinking into black hole desolation. Oblivion was the language you learned to speak, but no one knew the other's dialect. And the Lord called it Babel, Hebrew for confused.
I started writing poetry when I was younger, probably in middle school, because I just had a lot to say, and there wasn't enough audience, and there weren't enough people to listen. So I would write my thoughts down in notebooks and in margins and things. And I guess I started getting serious about poetry when I got to college. And I sort of realized that there was this thing called spoken word, and there was sort of like a network for that. So I started to sort of write to a rhythm, and I began, writing about like issues that I felt were important, and about experiences of mine and things like that.
Grandma whispers her way through your name like she said Lucifer. Pastor preaches me like I'm some scary story. The world is out to scorn Daddy and his daughters. Well, guess what? I know. It's not that Daddy's not coming home. He's there. It's that home for him is as far from me as I am to a cure that I don't need, and I'm okay with that. I'm not hurting yet, but maybe I should be. Though I'm certain you're not really suffering either. You never tried to put us back together.
I'm a spoken word artist, and I got involved in spoken word poetry through Philadelphia Youth Poetry Movement. I started going to the workshops, and then I got really involved after that.
3 was a blur. I think it involved not crying about losing her. She is a shadow disguised as a stain. Each time I try to rub her off, she makes her way back into my hands. She is all over my hands. She came to me out of the blue one day and said, "I'm joining the army. I love you, but we can no longer speak." She said it hurts too much to know me. I wanted to say not as much as it hurts to share a bed with girls who look nothing like you, but what I said was I love you too. She said it hurts too much, but not more than war and tear gas and shrapnel. I'm afraid the shadow on my hands will become a red stain. Step 4 was just me lying on my back, imagining her in uniform.
Whenever I go through a crisis, I definitely call anyone in my poetry family. There's so many people I can call. But I remember one specific time, I was having a hard time. I was going through a breakup, and I called one of my friends at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they answered. And I feel like just that is really important, that they would answer at 4 o'clock in the morning, because they know if I'm calling at 4 o'clock in the morning, then it's important, and they understood that, and they cared enough to answer the phone. Just answering the phone when someone needs it, that was really important to me.
We told him we thought he had a problem, that the spades at a family barbecue should turn into having a 9-year-old spot in a 10, that the white man should circulate in pawn shops whenever the odds got the better of you, that you should never feed your greed before you feed your children. He burned us in his money pit. Jack our jewelry boxes, taught us that sparkly things can
stare into your eyes as the pills slide down your throat to make you see your flaws. It's crafting you into it. Sloth takes hold in the cracks of our personality, where our confidence ends and our facade begins, and every night spent walls staring blind and glossy eyed. Sloth lives in
it's the perfect industrial complex. You see, the more a student stays in college, the more debt they'll owe. And since they'll owe us for almost the rest of their lives, we'll never go broke, Bob. We'll charge them tuition that varies by major. I'm taking their money for room and board. They gotta sleep, library access, they gotta read, parking, they gotta drive, ID cards, they need their picture taken, athletic faculty, they might want to be like Mike, meal plans, they gotta eat, administrative costs, and
heart in your pocket and loan it to strangers and do it willingly and do it daily and say yes to the day, and you're trying and you're trying and you're trying, and I'm tired. You're wishing and it's working, and I'm tired. Displays of hope make me sick.
The honest intention to be happy leaves no space for disappointment, and I'm always disappointed. I can place that blame in front of me like a birthday cake. Let me tell you how it happened. How my sin swallowed my virtue and flossed with its bones.
There's something that, sort of draws you closer to people when you have to listen to literally their life story again and again and again. You memorize it because it's the same words, and they perform it, and just having someone be able to bare their soul like that in front of you, there's something connecting to that. Because there are entire grown adults who run families and can't even tell their spouses intimate things about them and how they feel, and the fact that I have about 15 people who every Monday I listen to intimate details of their life, I think that makes us a family.
I'm baking bricks out of inky slips of paper, decoupage turrets out of the poetry he writes on my tongue. When I build my towers, I will not build upwards but outwards, twisting melodies around the wrists of strangers. This is an attempt to teach you my language, make us one people. I want to be understood the way we once understood the seasons. Do we speak the same dialect yet, or are we still caught up in our own oblivion? Because the Lord called it Babel, Hebrew for confused. But the day we stop building our towers upwards and begin to build out, on that day, we will understand.